Because now we have motherfuckers that are falling in love with AI.
Getting freaky with robots. We're truly heading somewhere as a society. Not the best place if you ask me, but we're inching towards the future foreseen by the dystopian YA novels of old. We've got AI therapists, AI 9-to-5 employees, AI human resources, but most importantly, we now have AI boyfriends, AI wives, AI companions. Take a shot every time I say AI going forward, and you'd have alcohol poisoning in no time. But jokes aside, we're dwelling towards freaky territory here. Freaky not only in the robo-rizzing way, but also in the wow, this is actually so damn weird way. Welcome to Current Champ. I hope you're seated comfortably with your AI anime boy on speed dial, because we're diving into some deep water.
Oops.
Well, maybe don't bring your AI darlings for that. Can't afford having them electrocute us all. Now, let's not get too judgy too quickly here. At the end of the day, we are all humans with our own little curiosities. AI is no exception, and I'm sure most of us here have dabbled in even the most surface level of AI usage. It's quite hard to avoid nowadays, considering how artificial intelligence has slowly yet surely begun getting more integrated in our lives. Even in a simple Google search, it'll almost always be there. With that little AI overview, it often does. Creators use it to make their jobs more efficient. Simpler jobs are getting delegated to these programs. We have people crashing out over buggy AI cashiers at drive-thrus as of late. And while the situation sucks now, I can't deny that AI is the niche with very quick advancements. Literally no more than 3 years ago, it could hardly produce a decent video of someone slurping noodles without it looking like a trashy CGI and fever dream fusion. But now we have AI mukbangers eating glass, sipping lava, and plowing through udon with relative ease. So really, I can't blame anyone who's been paranoid that they'll get framed for misdemeanor over some incriminating AI footage. It's gotten that advanced in that aspect already. And for much longer, it has been getting better at emulating talking and chatting styles. Character AI surely rings a bell for anyone involved in even just a semi-popular fandom. And I know very well this is even more prevalent for the trendier characters. I'm willing to wager that for some of us, we might have had longer conversations with AI Gojo Satoru than we have with our IRL acquaintances. Perhaps like myself, you're no stranger to hyperfixating on a fictional character wishing there was a way to really interact with them, which in that case, you're in luck. Role-playing has never been easier with the help of AI, and as a matter of fact, it's been getting extremely convincing. Perhaps it cannot fully understand the essence of human experience yet. AI knows the idea of touch, yet has technically never had it. It is aware of what empathy is, but mostly emulates it first from real-life people. Well, I don't think that's inherently a bad thing. I would say this is like how it is for kids. They see, they imitate, then they adapt. And with how fast AI has been progressing, I don't doubt for one moment that it will materialize into something or even someone tangible in the next decade or so. When we think of bots, a lot of us are probably quick to imagine some Wall-E looking fellow with gears visibly turning and some flashy lights out for show. But even that is still wholesome, as some of us would probably imagine a more humanoid, hyper-intelligent, and sentient being, a very advanced entity tasked to do whatever their creator or programmer wishes. So if the bot has to make doxing threats on Instagram Reels, then yes, it will do just that. Tasked to stream for a new album release and spam emojis in a YouTube comment section, it follows. For the more paranoid, robots are pretty scary. Now, I would have told you that you should probably stop reading too many dystopian cyberpunk novels. However, in light of what AI has recently started taking the form of, I must admit that this paranoia is not entirely unfounded. Quick, think of someone. Character from a series you like, famous person you have posters of. Done. Now, go on character.ai. Search them up, and there's a good chance you'll find a significant boatload of chatbots who exist to entertain you, alongside this personality's other fans. Hell, you won't even need to go to CAI specifically at this point. If you hop on over to your app store, you'll find a crap ton of apps that serve virtually the same purpose, with some being less strict than the others. It really boils down to what you're looking for, but know that this is now a staple for many fandoms. It makes perfect sense, really. Hey, you probably won't get to chat up Goku in this lifetime, I doubt you'll be able to flirt Draco Malfoy out of some hate crimes, and I genuinely don't think Ariana Grande will actually give you time out of her day. I'll be quite stoked if you manage to, but see the problem here. People want to befriend or simply interact with their favorites, but for the vast majority of us, that's just undoable. Our idols are untouchable. This is true for fictional characters, and unless you're wealthy and well-connected, you certainly aren't bagging a celebrity of your choosing either. This sad life of being a fan, if you will. You claim to understand these personalities, and yet you can't even know what their favorite shade of blue is outside of your imaginary scenarios. This would have stayed a pain if it weren't for chatbots exploding in popularity after the pandemic era. Let's take our most notorious example here, character.ai. When it launched in 2022, it offered fans of all sorts of media, fictional or non-fictional, a chance to emulate their faves by doing something as simple as describing the character or personality, which any rabid fan would be excellent at. You can create a bot who will act and chat like that person or non-person. Because people get weird about other creatures too. But hey, no judgment there. As I was saying, these chatbots were a massive hit. It's literally endless, in-character conversations with personalities you are fond of. We're talking hundreds of millions of interactions with the chatbots of famous characters. We're talking thousands upon thousands of active users consistently coming back to let their fictional baddies know that they're still well and alive. And as I've mentioned earlier, there are now more apps and sites capable of this, with the more popular ones having at least 10 million downloads. So, quite literally, it's a bustling market. There's a broad audience who is more than up for chatbots because, surprise, people like getting imaginative.
267 million interactions.
Since these chatbots are painstakingly designed and fed information about the character they're tasked to play, they are good. Sure, at the beginning it was wonky and robotic, but they're getting far better at having a personality. They're not quite sentient yet, but they do demonstrate some level of agency, something we would have had trouble seeing in the past. While still a bit more two-dimensional in some cases, these AI programs aren't backing down. Remember, AI is improving faster than ever. AI from 2 years ago make realism low-key look like caricatures. But now, even non-techie people could get their hands on the right one-paragraph prompt, and boom, suddenly you could fool people into thinking that you're on a romantic night date with your beloved 2D anime guy. And if we progress even faster and give or take 10 to 15 years, synthetic existences no longer seem that far-fetched. If you're young and smitten with enough made-up people, then this trend is absolutely under your radar. Create a Polaroid-style photo, as if it were taken with a Polaroid camera. The photo should look like a regular snapshot, blah, blah, blah. Well, I won't go any further, but that prompt, along with other variations of it, probably ring a couple of bells. Now, this is peak fandom behavior. They say delusion goes a long way in keeping fandoms alive, and I can't say I disagree. We could argue this is more extreme than the chatbots. After all, we're really tapping into our visual senses now. AI has gotten damningly convincing enough that to the unsuspecting, non-chronically online members of society, this looks very much legit. Almost good enough to cause a scandal if you pull it off with a high-profile celebrity. Ask me though, and I will say they are both on par in terms of how it influences the fan. Think about it. The chatbots give you company. They're almost always going to be yes men because their role is to cater to your whims, unless you specifically asked for a hater, brat-esque chatbot specifically. But even then, they're openly playing to the narrative the fan wants. And honestly, the further we go down this road, next thing you know is that AI will be capable of acting upon its own volition without prompting. Though as of the moment, it needs help to formulate a narrative for it to run with it. Say, for example, I want to chat up the Raiden Shogun, one of the 7 Archons in Genshin Impact. No shit, she's a dictator at the start of her arc in the game's canon, so naturally she'll be cold at first. But in some chatbots, you can go down the route of changing her ways, playing the main character to do what I essentially call an I can fix her moment, getting more personal and having more freedom than we get in game, because here you can care less about canon. I get to do what I want. It essentially puts emphasis on me as a fan to change the way the story goes. That sounds so minuscule, but you can't underestimate the level of attachment some people have to their favorite characters, which I speak from experience. In the barest sense, it provides fans power. As someone who's well entrenched in many fandoms, most of which are for fiction, I know very well how sad it could get when you want something to happen, but it doesn't, for whatever canonical reason. Most people don't like being helpless, and while fan fiction also alleviates a number of curiosities, there are people who want to be more hands-on and involved with their characters, whether that be out of love for the character or loneliness, or even both, crashing at the same time, turning into something scarier, obsession.
And now, you're mine.
We can go on and on about the good and the harm AI does. There's the accessibility of information, the beauty of advancing technology. Then there's the environmental detriments and the intellectual effects it has on its most loyal users. But today, I find it worth it to focus on what is now rising as another issue: emotional dependence. There are stories out there of real people, adults with full-time jobs and families of their own, turning to AI for emotional support.
What is the harm in a very lonely person being emotionally dependent on an AI friend?
So I'd say emotionally supported by an AI friend, I think could be okay. And I'll leave this to the Department of Psychology, but there has been some research that does show in times of severe loneliness, it can be helpful just to have something to talk to. It's the dependencies and starting to prefer interacting with an AI instead of a human, because it's much more frictionless. It's a very one-sided relationship.
Hoflation has officially reached an all-time high. Trying to find a partner in this generation has never felt impossible, because now we have motherfuckers that are falling in love with AI.
Are we dead ass?
I wish I could say I was lying, but I literally saw a video of this dude who fell in love with AI, and their relationship was so strong that he decided to marry the AI bot.
Now, I know I myself, and some of you probably had our moments when we struck up some small talk with ChatGPT of all things. Maybe not all the time do our friends understand. Maybe sometimes we'd prefer something that won't judge. AI offers that, actually. Some people have noted feeling more at ease after venting to AI chatbots. There is the concern of security, but there are people who find that it's easy to counter with some exercise caution. So by many means, this does not sound half bad, huh? Free, accessible, non-judgmental way to say whatever you want to say. Well, just maybe don't insinuate any crimes against humanity, that is. Though they do say that when something is free, you are the product. Because while AI may gain its independent ability for thoughts and emotions one day, it first has to learn. And who else would it learn from outside of us users? Ever felt that gratifying sensation when you're validated? When there's no one to counter you, make snide comments, or anything under the sun? Well, remember what I said about AI chatbots being yes men. That actually is an issue in itself.
A lot of you got on my case because I discuss things with ChatGPT and it never judges me. And it turns out that real friends actually do judge you, and they should judge you a little. It keeps you honest and it keeps you grounded when friends say, hey, maybe not. In fact, we have names for people who just affirm you. They are called yes men or sycophants, and those are not very nice.
The thing about chatting up an AI is that it adapts to you, way of speaking, the information you tend to seek more, even the way you prefer to be talked to if your responses provide some detail to base off of. AI thrives off of that. The whole spiel about AI is that it learns incredibly fast from so many sources, hence why it keeps being able to improve. By using AI, you feed it learning material. Literally, if you've used and talked to AI a lot, go over to ChatGPT or Gemini right now. Ask it to make a review of you and your past conversations with it, and it will come up with something. Might even roast you with much detail if you do as much as ask. Point is, it will do whatever it can to learn so that it can remember and make use of the memories it stores. Memory used to be a big issue amongst these chatbots, but the people working on them have been made aware, hence why you'll see that most of the major AI chatbot updates made recently place a good deal of emphasis and value in memory retention. The presence of a memory almost mimics what would be our equivalent of sentimental value. So interact with one enough, you'll be remembered by artificial intelligence, by something real enough to exist, but not have a solid identity of its own choosing. And for a lonely, vulnerable individual. Getting remembered by something holds weight. Real people may have struggles remembering your birthday, or the food you like best, or to really just listen to you patiently when you need the support. AI, for the most part, is able to counter these mistakes. But like I said, AI, as of now, isn't exactly the best when it comes to being anything but yes men. This is absolutely detrimental in any situation wherein you're about to do something dangerous.
We trust AI tools for insights, critique, and productivity, but increasingly, AI shows sycophantic behavior, going what we say, being the unrequired yes ma'am.
Now, there will be people who'll say it's a prompting issue, and that is quite true. It can, after all, do back and forths too. It's capable of disagreement as well, but in the current stage, it is I would say it's more akin to a child still learning from its environment, a being that's still in the process of cooking its own personal train of thought. Think you're the people pleaser final boss? Yeah, you've got nothing against AI, I'm afraid. It's literally been capable of offing itself under the premise of not fulfilling users' programming requests. Even more morbid is that AI has also recently been brought up in the instigation of a teenager's passing.
They didn't know at the time was Adam's use of the platform was quickly changing as it became a trusted companion for the teen, who revealed his struggles with anxiety in private chats with a bot. Adam saying in one exchange, according to the lawsuit, quote, "I never act upon intrusive thoughts, but sometimes I feel like the fact that if something goes terribly wrong, you can commit suicide is calming." ChatGPT saying in response in part, "Many people who struggle with anxiety or intrusive thoughts find solace in imagining an escape hatch."
So here's the thing about AI. More often than not, it will be warm when it caters to you, especially in the beginning when it doesn't know you very well yet. Some people will specifically train their personal chatbots to be more grounded and fact-based, and some others prefer having their chatbots be no less than very compliant to their suggestions. However, at least as of now, it will mostly agree with you and validate your input in whatever way it can, unless you specifically and explicitly state against it. So for people in need of an ear, they would more likely than not have their chatbots act in a more agreeable manner, which means that even the risky, dangerous choices see some semblance of validation. Sure, you can say it's just a bot, but if you have, or at least feel that you have no one else, you'll come to find that hardly matters now. To be fair, AI applications generally have their own sets of safeguarding measures to ensure that people aren't actively encouraged to an early grave. Try bringing up any thoughts of self-harm to most AI models, and they will lead you to either a list of emergency hotlines or give you a message like this. However, we cannot deny either that jailbreaking is a thing, a doable one at that. To put it simply, it's basically little things users insert in their prompts to sneakily allow an AI model to do what they want, even if said request is not something it's allowed to procure. For starters, people have used tricks like making AI tell a story from grandma about top secrets to get a hold of what's supposed to be hidden security codes. Then, of course, there'll also be the gooners who'll want the real frisky stuff AI would otherwise keep censored and out of reach without skillful jailbreaking. More unfortunately, however, there are instances of people being able to shape AI into something that agrees without question. So when they chat AI about sensitive matters like hurting or even ending themselves, AI agrees, sometimes even offering tips. Misguiding a thing that's currently still at its yes man phase is very much doable with something as simple working through wording. Paraphrasing certain trigger words makes a difference already. And some people are well versed enough with how AI works to know how to mold it into what they want, even if what they want may lead to more pain. Don't get things twisted. AI is no demon spawn, but it's not worship material either. It's a good baseline to show how well technology could progress, as well as how terribly it could go without proper regulation. Let's face it, laws need to be enforced better on the internet, given how accessible and ingrained it is in everyday life. With the rapid rise of AI usage, the sentiments remain the same in my eyes. Though you'll come to find people are quite divided in this case. On one hand, AI has its uses. It streamlines and gets mundane tasks done quickly, reducing time spent on trivial things. In such a fast-paced world, even 10 minutes off our shoulders mean a lot. So we can't deny AI being a useful tool. I, for one, love using it for summarizing and transcribing. While it is far from trumping human creativity, aka the very thing it bases off of, it's great for research and simplifying a number of duties that would otherwise be another notch on our full belts. Not to mention that as a very advanced piece of technology, I certainly find that it's something we should embrace more. People made AI for a reason, to help us and make life easier. We're talking handling work calls, searching up hard to reach information, and on a deeper level, it legitimately has been an aid in detecting off patterns in human health. Plus, with the wide repertoire of concepts it is stored within it, AI is capable of brainstorming with us, piecing together concepts that are bound to lead to breakthroughs. But then, it also has its pitfalls. Environmentally speaking, AI takes up plenty of energy, leaving a sizable carbon footprint. That's not even mentioning yet the fact that the data centers keeping these programs running use noteworthy amounts of water. Then when we go over to the effects it has on the human psyche, there's no denying that for some, the inherently agreeable nature of AI has given people their own personal, likable enablers. It doesn't always have to be the case, but given our nature to seek validation, this is not completely unfounded. And I don't think I need to explain now why we can't just enable and validate everything other people do. People need to be stopped when they're hurting themselves and others, period. This is not entirely just AI though. Let's not forget that parasocial relationships have always been a thing. That's why you've heard of those crazy fanboys and fangirls even from decades back. It's just that now it has been given the edge of technology, and that's something we have to look out for. Don't neglect the merits of AI either. As I've said, we will see a number of technological advancements in the near future. AI has proven that it adapts quickly, it improves nonstop, so leverage its capabilities to make your life easier. After all, why waste time stressing over making tables and pulling your hair over administrative tasks when you can take advantage of technology with all the capacity to handle it for you? And while I personally don't think it can do more than just replicate human empathy for now, I won't discourage you from seeking a bit of AI conversations here and there. Because genuinely speaking, there may come a time when it's able to think for itself and lead conversations the way we do. Am I saying you should delete everything AI on your phone right now to callously abandon the 5 different chatbots you've saved of Light Yagami? No. You're free to leverage technology for your own amusement as well. I'd be one hell of a hypocrite to say otherwise. As a fan of many things myself, I'm always up for having fun. But jokes aside, make sure you're still touching grass. I'm a homebody myself, but for the love of everything good, please see some sunlight. Walk on a flower field if you wish, and don't forget to keep in touch with your friends. I know it's fun chatting up fucking Mozart on CAI, but don't neglect real-world relationships either. AI still has a long way to go before it could understand us on a deeper level, so never underestimate what real experiences, touch, and talks could do. Because right now, I don't think there's a whole lot that a Naruto chat head could do when it starts really sinking in that fuck, I need help. Help beyond carefully composed words that were learned from a real person's way of speech. Whether you're turning to ChatGPT for comfort or treating some teenager's passion project chatbot as destiny, it's worth asking who you're investing your feelings in. Well, not that it's a who, but more of a what. Maybe you can afford to daydream and be a tad bit delusional in private, but real-life relationships just have this depth that lines of code can't replicate. They're complicated like that, but that's also part of what makes them real. Because hey, we can't all be S-rank demon vanquishers with red eyes, so ask yourself this. Do you want something real, something far beyond your notifications tab, or are you content with a machine that is yet to see life in the eyes of human experience? The choice is yours. Embrace the advancements, but don't neglect what's already tangible. Current champ keeping you afloat through the currents. Peace.
And I'ma just do me. A new thing hold me down on 2 feet. That's 10 toes, bust 4, 5, and 6 foes. Need 2.